भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Text 20. नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीर अपि अंगसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत् तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरञ्चो न भवो नेमं विरिञ्चो नो भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात् यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरिञ्चो नो भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। संश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात्। माताजी। नेमं विरिञ्चो न भवो न श्रीरप्यङ्गसंश्रया प्रसादं लेभिरे गोपी Yat tat prapa vimuktidat. Word for word. Na, not. Imam, this exalted position. Virincha, Lord Brahma. Na, nor. Bhavaha, Lord Shiva. Na, nor. Shrihi, the goddess of fortune. Api, indeed. Angasam Shraya, although she is always the better half of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prasadam, mercy. Lebhire, obtained. Gopi, Mother Yashoda. Yattat, as that which. Prapa, obtained. Vimuktidat, from Krishna, who gives deliverance from this material world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Neither Lord Brahma nor Lord Shiva nor even the goddess of fortune, who is always the better half of the Supreme Lord, can obtain from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer from this material world, such mercy as received by Mother Yashoda. Purport. This is a comparative study between Mother Yashoda and other devotees of the Lord. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 5.142, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ar Sababhritya. The only Supreme Master is Krishna and all others are His servants. Krishna has the transcendental quality of Bhritya Vashyata, becoming subordinate to his Bhritya or servant. Now, although everyone is Bhritya and although Krishna has the quality of becoming subordinate to his Bhritya, the position of Mother Yashoda is the greatest. Lord Brahma is Bhritya, a servant of Krishna, and he is Adi Kavi, the original creator of this universe. Tene Brahmarida ya Adi Kavaye. Nonetheless, even he could not obtain such mercy as Mother Yashoda. As for Lord Shiva, he is the topmost Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. What to speak of Brahma and Lord Shiva? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is the Lord's constant companion in service, since she always associates with his body. But even she could not get such mercy. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was surprised, thinking, what did Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj do in their previous lives by which they got such a great opportunity? The opportunity to be the affectionate father and mother of Krishna. In this verse, there are three negative pronouncements. Na, na, na. When anything is uttered three times, do it, do it, do it, one should understand that this is meant to indicate great stress on a fact. In this verse, we find na le bhire, na le bhire, na le bhire. Yet Mother Yashoda is in the supermost exalted position, and thus Krishna has become completely subordinate to her. The word Vimuktidat is also significant. There are different types of liberation such as Sayujya, Salokya, Sarupya, Sarshti and Samipya. But Vimukti means special mukti. When after liberation one is situated on the platform of Prema Bhakti, one is said to have achieved Vimukti, special mukti. Therefore the word Na is mentioned. That exalted platform of Prema is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Prema Pumartho Mahan. And Mother Yashoda naturally acts in such an exalted position in loving affairs. She is therefore a Nitya Siddha devotee, an expansion of Krishna's Ladini potency. His potency is to enjoy transcendental bliss through expansions who are special devotees. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhi. Such devotees are not Sadhan Siddha. Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नेमं विरिंचो न भवो न श्रीरपि अंग संश्रया प्रसादम लेभिरे गोपी यत्तत् प्राप विमुक्तिदात। Neither Lord Brahma nor Shiva nor the goddess of fortune did obtain such kind of mercy. So over the last few days, many devotees have very elaborately brought out the flavor, the rasa of this particular pastime, in which Lord Krishna plays a very mischievous child's role and is actually punished by his mother. In the 9th canto, last chapter, 24th chapter, Shukadeva Goswami is coming to the end of a long list of pious kings, all Rajarshis practically, very powerful. And then comes the name of King Yadu, and then he explains how this particular king is so virtuous that the Supreme Lord Hari, when he decided to advent on this earth, he chose this particular family lineage, this particular dynasty. Sometimes we take things for granted. Like, why does the sun rise in the east? To be very precise, the answer is, he chose it. Is it not? There is no law telling the sun that you have to rise in the east. In fact, for so many millions of years, mankind is observing it, and we kind of take it for granted that obviously the sun has to rise in the east. But it is not so. The sun is very powerful. So, Vedic literature gives us, I find it personally many times, that particular guidance as to in what direction you should employ your thought process. I was reading a text of a lecture by Kadam Kanand Maharaj, and he gives the example of a cowherd boy. He is tending his cows, and the cows normally, they do not know which path to go. So sometimes he has a big stick in his hand and just a gentle rap on the back, and the cow knows that, oh, I shouldn't turn right, you have to go right, you have to go left. So similarly, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, especially when we read Srila Prabhupada's purports, many times they gently guide us that this is the way in which you should bring your thought process. So Krishna chooses a particular family, and that family becomes glorious. The sun chose this direction, Purva Disha, and it became glorious. This is how we should be trying to see it. And Parikshit Maharaj asks a question that the Supreme Lord Hari appeared in this particular family. And he said, you Maharaj, you also are from the same Yaduvansh. Arjun and Krishna are cousins, they are related. So you are glorious. And actually if you read, you will be surprised. Parikshit, Shukdev Goswami summarizes Lord Krishna's pastimes in something like 7 to 8 verses. That Krishna appeared in the family of cowards. He was first here in Mathura, then he went to Gokul, and then he killed a few demons, and then... So he said, hey, what is this? So then he gives, like he's his guru, but he makes a kind of a heartfelt request. He says, Guru Maharaj, 2 things. Number 1, this long list of kings which you have told me, this Vanshavali, enough. Alam Buddhi. Alam means enough. I have heard enough. It's okay. I'm happy, it's okay, it's nice. Now do one thing, please. These Krishna stories which you have told me, these few verses which you have told me, I want everything in minutest detail. Please, can you do that? Now, Krishna consciousness is not a one-way traffic. Even a discourse is not a one-way traffic. A speaker speaks and the audience appreciates it, absorbs it, assimilates it, tries to give a feedback. Because the subject matter is surcharged with Krishna's potency, the speaker also feels that his tongue has been purified. The listeners feel that their ears have been purified. So that is the potency of Krishna conscious topics. So this is how Parikshit Maharaj, Prabhupada says in one particular point, he encouraged Shukdev Goswami to go further. And it's a fact that the spiritual master gives knowledge. There is one verse in the Bhagavatam which says that the spiritual master gives knowledge even when without asked. Even if the guru, the shishya doesn't ask him specifically, he bestows him knowledge. Anaprishtam api bruyur guravo dina vatsala. Anaprishtam, even though you don't ask him. Like some people, they feel, I've attended so many classes, I don't have any questions. Is it good? I don't ask any questions. Of course, there are a few who always ask questions or who have so many questions. Not a question of good and bad, but once it was revealed that attendance in class is a sign of that inquisitiveness to know about Krishna. Just if you attend class, perhaps you may not have questions because you don't have any subject matter to hold in your heart. But after attending for a long time, then you understand, hey, this is like this. But why this is like this? Then you ask a question. So Parikshit Maharaj has encouraged his Guru, Shukdev Goswami, and he actually specifically told him, right from the beginning. So we have the 10th canto where Krishna's appearance, the prayers by the demigods, and then these kind of leelas, these kind of stories. Almost every mother here has an experience of her child being little bit mischievous. Now mothers may feel, oh, my son is not that mischievous, but the neighbor's one is really, is a brat. Apart from that kind of subjective logic, but almost every child has been mischievous. Perhaps somebody would describe his childhood as, oh, I was so mischievous, it was a very happy childhood. Happy for you. What about those who were the victims of your mischief? But he may say, no, they also liked it. And it's a fact. I have seen grandparents complain like anything about their grandchild. And then the last line is, oh, but we still love him. We liked him. We like him when he's that kind of active. So, this particular logic that somebody's childhood pranks and being punished by their parents is an ordinary affair. Why should someone like Parikshit Maharaj take this so seriously? Because, number one, he knows that it has taken 9 cantos for Shukdev Goswami to describe the glory of Lord Krishna. Who actually is he? If this would have been the first canto, like normally if you take the life and activities of so and so, one great leader, the first chapter details he was born in this particular place on this particular day, and then he did this and blah 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 blah, whatever it is. This is a very different book. It is about the stories of Lord Krishna, but the actual birth, the so-called birth, the appearance of Lord Krishna comes in the 10th part. And the initial 9 parts, they have so much of detail about his expansions, his potencies, his power. And one very important question: what is to be, or I'll put it this way, what does it mean to be a servant of Krishna? I should admit, in front of a Vaishnav Sabha, that the first time I heard that the goal of life is to be an eternal servant of Krishna, I didn't like it. I said, why not be a self-realized soul, be the goal of your life? Be enlightened, that's the goal of your life. Be kind to all, be very learned, do tapasya. But then I found that in every class, the end point would be, and therefore one has to be a surrendered soul, completely devoted, and an eternal servant of Krishna. So you hear all these things, the benefits of Krishna consciousness, and then the final sting, servant of Krishna. You can't say the disease has gone, because the more you learn, the more you understand why this particular problem.
I remember I was with Krishnan Prabhu and we met a very disoriented kind of person, not proper in his clothing or whatever, looked a bit insane also. And he looked at us and said, Kya Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita? What Bhagavad Gita you people speak? So I didn't speak anything, but Krishna Prabhu said, chant Hare Krishna. So he started blabbering something more. And surprise of surprises, he started speaking Gita verses. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvatram cha mai pashyati. The one who sees me everywhere, I am everywhere. So Krishna Prabhu corrected. You have to see Krishna everywhere. Not that Krishna is everything and Krishna, everybody is Krishna. You are not Krishna. So he didn't understand. You are an eternal servant of Krishna. And that was the end of it. He became so mad, he started actually abusing us. Initially he was like in an argumentative mode. So I asked him, why somebody should be, like people are angry because you are doing your bhajan or you are chanting or whatever. But when you tell them that all of us are eternal servants of Krishna, it's too much. Srila Prabhupada very mercifully has given so many angles of looking at this particular thing. Why do we feel bad when someone tells us that you are a servant? There are millions of unemployed all over the world. If you ask somebody, what do you want? Job. Somebody says, aren't you ashamed of asking a job? I said, what do you mean ashamed? I want a job. Everybody wants a job. What kind of job? Ideally where I am the boss, but if not, at least some kind of job where, So service is everywhere. Going deeper, Prabhupada explains, all these souls like us who do not want to serve in the spiritual world, what are we doing here? Prabhupada said, you are serving Maya. What does Maya mean? Our own mind and intelligence. So again, we cannot run away from service. In a proper situation, a person gets a job, occupation, whatever, and he has a family, he obeys rules, regulations. He is called an honest citizen. Someone doesn't do that, somebody breaks the laws, he is put in jail. And what does he do in jail? Break rocks, sew clothes, make pottery, whatever. So the government says either this way or that way you should serve us. Either you take a government job or a private job and serve the economy, or if you commit crimes, you go in jail and do the same thing what you could be doing outside for much lesser pay, with no sort of credibility, with no fame or no name, but you do the same thing. Is it like jail life is all luxury where, you don't have to do anything? No, it's not like that. So if man can make a situation where only people who follow rules, they can enjoy proper life. Those who disobey, they have to suffer. What makes us think that Krishna has made a situation where those who are in his spiritual kingdom, they enjoy, and we here also enjoy? It's not possible. If a man can make a system where somebody who is breaking law has to suffer, Krishna also made a system where those who break law, they suffer. Of course, there is so much of Maya, there is so much of illusion, that although we are suffering, we don't realize it. Another point is, we read in the Bhagavad Gita, this world is a perverted reflection. This was the first thing someone explained to me when I asked a devotee, that why emphasize being a servant? Why? So he said, look, calling yourself somebody's servant is not a very prestigious thing in this world, right? I said, yeah. But this world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So what is top there must be bottom here. And what is top here must be bottom there. Like a skyscraper building. You see the perverted reflection in a lake. The topmost story is at the bottom now. And the ground floor is the top. Simple. So he said simple logic. Being a servant is the greatest thing in the spiritual world. People want to shed all other things. They want to give it up. No, I want to be a servant. I'm glorified being a servant. Servant. I'm nothing else but the servant. Now, is there any prestige in being a servant here? Normally people say no. But yes, there is. You know how? Provided there is that kind of a master. I know a devotee, he only told me the story. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, he was a fan of a rock star, the king of pop. He used to listen to his songs all the time. And what was his life's ambition? He and his other fan friends would discuss, he's not going to come to India. No, India is too low for him. Maybe we should write to him. Please allow in a sense, give us airfare so we can come and stay with you. All we will do is clean your guitar strings, your drum set, your shoes. We don't want anything else. We don't want money. We don't want fame. Don't even feed us. Just allow us to put this particular seva. So I said, but what did you get doing that? He says, come on, this is no ordinary service. This is big. So, material world, being a servant is the lowest position. Still the spiritual principle seeps in. That when there is a proper glorious master, we are talking glorious in the material sense. But even when there is a glorious master, there is prestige in vying for that position. Like in India we have Rashtrapati Bhavan. The chauffeur of that Rashtrapati Bhavan, see how he carries himself. He says, I'm not an ordinary taxi driver. You say, hey, what's the difference? This fellow drives a car, you also drive a car. No. I drive the president's limousine. It's an official car. So there is prestige. So Srila Prabhupada's final word on this particular thing is that we have been disappointed by unscrupulous rogue masters. Vi phale se vinu kripana durajana. That's how Govinda Das Kaviraj sums it up. We have been serving unscrupulous, roguish masters. They may say, oh, that means it's their fault. Well, why did you choose that service then? It's not just masters in the sense of people. One Brahmana devotee prays to Lord Krishna, Kamadinam katina katida palita durnideshas tesham jata mai na trapa no pashanti. Kamadinam, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada. I have served these rogue masters all my life. And Tesham Jata, by this service, what has not been obtained from that service? I am tired and they are not satisfied. I mean, if at least they are tired and they say, okay, I don't think you are a good servant, get out. So I can leave. Or at least if they give me satisfaction, at least half of it is valuable. But I am not satisfied and they are shameless. I'm telling them, please relieve me. And they say, no. So, the living entity has this problem of choosing the wrong master. So, let's say we put our case before Advaitacharya. Why did I choose Advaitacharya? There's a very, very sweet section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The chapter is called The Glories of Lord Advaitacharya. And something like 45 verses from text 40 to about 86, roughly. Parikshit Maharaj's question is answered there. Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, how can Mother Yashoda bind Lord Krishna when he's the Lord? You already described 9 cantos you took to talk to me about the supremacy of Lord Krishna. In fact, you read the 3rd canto, you feel awe and reverence about Lord Brahma. Is it not? How great he is. So Bhagavatam follows a particular pattern. First, the devotees are described, how exalted they are. Bhishma Dev in the 1st canto described how exalted he is. And then you find Bhuvi Turagaraja Dhumra. Bhishma Dev glorifying Lord Krishna. Prahlad is described, the exalted character of Prahlad Maharaj. And then Prahlad says, my Lord Narasimhadev, I am a demon. I am born in a very low family. Please have mercy on me. You can find this consistent pattern. First the devotee is glorified and then you see him glorifying Lord Krishna. Why is that? Because invariably you and me will think Lord Krishna to be a common person like anybody else. Krishna also detected this problem when he said, Avjananti ma mudha manushim tanum ashritam. You and me also have taken a tanu. We have a body. But is it a body given in the form of a gift? It's punishment. This is punishment. The living entity is given a material body by way of material nature with the 3 modes, time factor and the material elements. These are all prison clothes. I have never seen anybody showing his family album, people wearing prison clothes. Like, this is our exalted family. Look how the uncle was in jail and his father also went there 2-3 times. This is how he was breaking rocks. No, it's a shame, it's embarrassment. So nobody likes to be, like, even if you've been in jail for something, you'd like to rub off those details. You would like to erase those things. So Krishna says, my body, Maya cannot give me a body. She is my servant. And there are millions of such potencies. The Bahiranga Shakti is just one. So in one purport, that same series, Glories of Advaitacharya, Srila Prabhupada explains the heart of Advaitacharya. He says, Advaitacharya, I'm paraphrasing it. Advaitacharya is fed up playing Vishnu. He just says, enough that I am all pervading, I am all powerful, I am this, I am that. Prabhupada says there is a reason. In Kali Yuga especially, previous yugas also the problem is there. It's not like Mayavad or Nirvisheshvad is a particular, there is one mutt in Haridwar and they preach Mayavad. No, it's not like that. It's a problem of the material world. It's there everywhere. But he says very specifically that If the Panchatattva would come and they would emphasize their Vishnu-ness, if I can dare call it, that Nityananda Prabhu says, I am Vishnu, I am Balram. Advaitacharya says, I am Vishnu. The whole population would follow them. Now, as such, they don't do it and people are doing it. Just see. Lord Chaitanya would be told, you are Narayan, you are Krishna himself. Says, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. You would jump in the Ganga if somebody would have said that. So, although these avatars, the Lord himself is saying, no, no, I am not. Still people are doing it. And what if they would have done it? So, Advaitacharya, he starts describing that Chaitanyara das moi Chaitanyara das. Chaitanyara das tar daser anudas. I am nothing but the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, Lord Chaitanya would follow Vaishnava etiquette very properly because he would treat Advaitacharya as his guru's god brother. So he would say, I have to give him respect. But he would say, no, I am your servant. Then Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami gives the example of, he says, hey, you want to know who all are happy calling themselves the servant of Krishna? He gives a long list. He says, first of all, Advaitacharya calls himself a servant of Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu calls himself a servant of Krishna. Brahma, Shiva, Shuka, Narada, Sanatana. Srivas, Haridas, Ramdas, Gadadhar, Murari, Chandrasekhar, Mukunda, Vakreshwar, all of them are not Vishnu Tattva, of course, but the only thing they glorify is the servitude of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami actually, in one sense, he pokes us the reader in the rib. Try it. Go ahead, try it once. Once proclaim yourself to be a servant of Krishna. All your life you try to be a master. Previous lives also. It never worked. Has it? You try to call yourself a master, somebody else takes over. You don't have mastery over your own body. It's going to be taken away by force. So why not try this? You know, as we see some advertisement, you tried everything. Now try this. So the same principle. You tried being master, now try being servant. This Panchatattva was never miserable. You never find them clasping their heads in their hands as to how long should we serve him, how long should we chant Hare Krishna, how long should we dance. No, they were just mad with ecstasy. So all these names Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, he says, Ei matta gai nache kare attahas, loke upadeshe hau Chaitanya das. Ei matta. This is how madly they danced, chanted, kare attahas, laughed like madmen. Like philosophers, their jokes are like quite serious. And in Kali Yuga, nobody is a philosopher. So if Krishna conscious movement would be like everybody looking grim and serious, and chant Hare Krishna and meditate, who would have come for it? So the initial devotees, when they come to Prabhupada's movement, they found Prabhupada to be like a jolly person, cracking jokes about this, about that, telling stories about India. Jamuna Mataji, she came and she was thinking, Krishna conscious diet means, half boiled, or luxury means fully boiled, little bit of salt. And Prabhupada says, why? For most who came to Prabhupada and asked the question, why should we do this? Prabhupada said, why not? You tell me, why not? Why not we should eat properly? Why not should we dance? Why not should we be happy? No, spiritual life means has to be something very serious. Not necessarily. Of course, you cannot put mundane rasa, the mundane humor or mundane jokes, because they are born in this filth of Rajagun Tamogun. Humor has to be there, it has to be born in Shuddha Sattva. That's the only condition. So this Panchatattva Kare Attahas. Rupa Goswami gives the levels of has. That is, hasya means pursed lips. Smita, the teeth are slightly visible. Then the next hasya is where you're actually smiling, laughing. Another level is your shoulders start vibrating. And then when you cannot control yourself, you are beating on the ground, you're holding your stomach. That's like the last level. In fact, Attalika means a skyscraper. So like one level, second level, third story, first story. Attahas means like a skyscraper of laughter. So the gopis, the coward men, they used to have that kind of laughter. And why? Loke upadeshe. Hey, just become Chaitanya Das and you'll see what happiness you get. Nanda Maharaj is now mentioned. Nanda Maharaj is the father of Krishna. This very interesting verse, Nanda Maharaj says, Shuna Uddhav Satya, Krishna Amar Tanoy, Teho Ishwara Hena Jadi, Tomar Mane Loy. Uddhava comes to Vrindavan, Krishna has left Vrindavan, and Uddhava comes to give a long lecture on how Krishna is the supreme person, how he is Brahman, how he is Paramatma, how he is Bhagavan. After a long lecture, Nanda Maharaj says, I have a question. What is your question? Just see, he is using the word Tomar Krishna. He says, Uddhav, hey Uddhav, listen, I agree what you say, but you know something, Krishna is my son. Tathapi tahate rahu mora mana vritti, tomar Ishwara Krishna hauk mor mati. After hearing everything, Uddhava, my only request to you is, let my mind remain in Krishna all the time and let my intelligence be always saturated with his thoughts. In short, let me be a servant of Krishna, that's all. Pita Mata Guru Sakha Bhav Kene Noy, Krishna Premer Swabhave Dasya Bhav Se Karay. And then he gives the understanding. Parikshit Maharaj is asking here a question, and Shukdev Goswami has noticed it, that Mother Yashoda, has she bound Krishna? When you bind somebody, when you control somebody, that means you say, now he is my servant. Is it not? Like in a boxing match, the fellow who is down, he doesn't get the medal. I mean, why should he? The fellow who is standing, his arms are up. I am the best. Why you are the best? Look at him. Look at what they did to him. So here it's just the opposite. The devotee, Yashoda Maiya, has bound Krishna and still she feels, I am his servant. There is no feeling that, today I have bound him, which no yogis can capture, no meditation process can capture. Today I have bound him. No. Nanda Maharaj explains, Krishna Premer Swabhave, the love of Krishna has a sweet aspect to it. You only feel like serving him. In fact, at the end of the Rasa dance, the gopis are praying to Krishna, and I'll conclude here. Vraja janartihan virayoshitam nija janasmaya dvansanasmita bhaja sakhe bhavat kinkari smano jalarohananam charudarshaya. They describe Krishna as, O remover of the distress of the Braja Gopis, O hero for women, please show us your smile. Sakhe, oh dear friend. But then comes the main important word here. Kinkari sma. No. All of us are your maid servants. Draupadi meets the 5 queens of Krishna. And just like ladies, they meet, they talk about, what do you prepare at home and what do you do this, what do you do that. Normal women talk. But here, the 5 queens of Krishna, they are exalted princesses, come from very exalted backgrounds. And she says, would you like to know how Krishna won me? So Draupadi says, yes. So she tells her story. My father was this, he led a very big vow, and it was very difficult. But I know why it was difficult, so that everybody else would fail, only Krishna will succeed. I also was wanting that, but I cannot express my mind. So when I saw Krishna there, like somebody had 7 bulls, and you had to pierce their nose with a rope at a point of time. And big Dhurandhars, they had come there and had been flattened. So Krishna came and he said, why not give me your daughter like that? So his father said, hey, we can't do that. There's a proper condition here. Plus, I want to glorify you. I know you can do it. So Krishna sometimes jokes. He doesn't always show that, what is this? I can do anything. So he actually put that rope through the noses of all these 7 bulls. And the princess was very happy. Now, in front of everybody, I know what my worth is, how Krishna has accepted me as his wife. But later she says, in this way I am engaged as a maid servant in Dwarka. Again and again we see the same thing. So this is the specific greatness of devotees of Krishna. And this is why Shukdev Goswami is saying, Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrir api anga samshraya. Even though she was always close to Lord Krishna's body, here Lord Krishna means actually Vishnu, prasadam lebire. This lebire should be used for the na, as Prabhupada points out. Gopi yatat prapa. But a simple gopi, Prabhupada said, gopis means what? Illiterate, coward girls. Yashodama is no philosopher. She didn't write any purport, she didn't write any books, didn't give any classes. In fact, her life is the subject matter of all classes. That's her glorification as a devotee. And the essence how Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says is how the coward men of Vrindavan, they pray, Uddhava, we only want one thing. May our minds be always at the lotus feet of your Lord Krishna. May our tongues chant his holy name all the time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. May our bodies prostrate before him all the time. And the pinnacle of it, wherever we wander in this material world, due to the law of karma, depending upon the will of the Lord, may our auspicious activities, if anything we do, if ever we do any auspicious activity, let it give only one thing, increase our attraction for the Lord. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki